toys, embryo, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace. Elite with the heat in this plastic race. ToyLeet, not just a name, we're the culture, the vibe, the collecting flame. Click, snap, pose, it's more than display. We stack with style, redefine in play. Custom builds, epic drops, from stream to shelf, we never stop. ToyLeet, it's not just toys, it's legacy we stack. ToyLeet's the movement, and we're never looking back.
I kind of got it, I think. Not completely. The music abruptly ends. I was also in the side.
Well, we lost a minute on our intro, so we're not used to having that short of an intro.
Right, I was over here pouring water and stuff, trying to get out, and then I'm like, oh, and then it just abruptly stops. So hopefully, folks enjoyed that, but we'll get that tweaked up. Was running some issues. I'll add some additional. There's a little bit more music there that didn't play, so we'll get that going, and it'll have it sound out a little bit better. But hey, man, how's it going, dude?
Doing all right, man. Been busy.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Allison says play the song again for Lawrence.
Oh, is he here? Okay, let me go. Hold on. Good deal. I'm still getting my screens together and all that fun stuff. So, real quick, why don't we hit up the chat? I know folks were waiting around. Let's show them a little bit of decency here.
Yeah, for sure. We have the one and only Mendoza is here.
What's up, Mendoza?
And we have the Baz Zone. I'm guessing it's Tiffany.
I actually think I was chatting with them through email. Hopefully they got my most recent one. Should have an update to them tomorrow on a couple things.
Allison is here. And Ronnie Trickshot, who did a really good live with the Jetman. I don't know if it was live.
Oh, good deal.
He was on the show with Jetman.
Oh, sweet. I haven't caught that one yet.
Kenzo's Creations. What's up, Kenny? And then some chap named Mr. Wonderful popping in saying coming in hot.
Checks out.
Allison saying that you ate at Arby's and now you have the bathroom paying the price.
I wish that was the case. I really do. I love me some Arby's.
Arby's is good, man. Arby's is good.
It's like one of my favorite things, man. Like
there's not many Arby's left in New York either, man. They're dying breed up here in New York. When I was down south last year in Texas, they were like all over the place once you get below Kentucky. But up here in New York, man, no, they're not anywhere.
Yeah, and far few between. We have one.
Yeah, Sig Toy Arts is here saying, "What's up?"
What's up, Sig?
And we are now ToyTube official as no one is in the house saying, "What's up?" Ed, Travis, and chat. And we got Brian from His Fables here saying, "Hey guys."
Oh, what's up, man?
Brian?
Hey, he was checking with me a little bit ago. He asked if we were going to be on, and I said I might be running a little late.
And Trickshot saying, "Thanks for the kind words about my stream. It was all Jetman. He did a phenomenal job." Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. He's just getting started. I think he's on like his 4th or 5th week of actually live streaming, and he's doing a good job. So
yeah, and I heard he's kicking ass at cornhole too.
What's that?
He's kicking ass at. I heard he's kicking ass at cornhole too.
Won a trophy in cornhole.
Yeah,
he's doing things, man.
Yeah.
He ordered up some of his first. Pre-ordered some Monster Force. He was telling me about the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. That's cool. I like those for sure.
Yeah. So how's it going for you, brother?
Dude, it's good. I can't complain, right? A couple more days before I start the new gig. Got some things working in the background, tinkering all the time. That. Some really cool stuff coming to fruition hopefully here soon. Joint venture with me and my son under the Hexastag brand, so I'm very excited for that. Yeah, it'll be cool. Much more to come on that down the road. We're probably 3-4 months out from that, so but that's not going to slow any pace on any of the additional Hexastack related items that we're working on, so it'll be cool. Yeah, man, I didn't get anything new. Well, actually, I did get one thing new. My oldest son returned from Australia, where
Oh yeah, that's right.
I guess they were having like torrential, like sea, like historic wide, like rain and flooding or whatever, to the point where they were shutting down like highways and stuff in Australia. So, what he went out there to do with his girlfriend, or what his girlfriend went out to do, and he went out with her, was canceled. Her practices and games were canceled. So they ended up kind of jumping on a plane and heading over to New Zealand. So he got to see the Hobbit houses. And while he was at the Hobbit houses, he gave he picked up a little souvenir for my family, and he got a board game, a little Hobbit related board game that he got from there, that he got for the family. So we're gonna play around with that here in the coming days.
What
Looking
kind of
forward
game
to
is it?
that.
Is it like a Monopoly or?
I didn't look too much at it
Yeah.
because I was working on my deck today, but I'll look it up real quick. It was the Hobbit board game. So it's actually, here's the game. It's called The Hobbit: An Unexpected Party, the board game. I don't know much about it, but it looked cool. The character art looked cool. Some little cards where you collect things, and there's some turn order. It's like I think it said on the box. It said something like, like an hour or two for the game, something like that. It's like 4 players, 10 plus, and 40 to 60 minutes for a game. So
Oh, cool.
I think it looks cool. I think we'll have fun with it. Looks like they're doing something in the Shire or something, I think. But since he got to go there where they had all the Hobbit houses, and I guess they rented an Airbnb where someone converted the property on their farm to be like a Hobbit house also. So while they're there, I guess they got to stay in a little Hobbit house on the farm.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Very envious of him. A story I always tell folks is I didn't care for Lord of the Rings until right before the Return of the King came out, or maybe it was after the
It was
second.
Fellowship,
But
Two Towers, and then Return of the King.
it might have been after the Two Towers. I'd have to check the years in which those movies came out. But I remember holding my oldest son in my arms when he was an infant, maybe 2 3 months old, after the holidays, just watching the first and second one with my father-in-law. So like him getting to go see those things in person, while I reminisce back to the first time I saw
Yeah.
them on camera was when he was in my arms. It's kind of cool, like 20 something years
Yeah.
later.
I
So
need to get there.
someday I hope to get there.
I've been a Tolkien fan since I was 19, whatever year the Hobbit cartoon came out from Tolkien. I think I
Oh
was like
yeah,
7 at the time. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
we got a couple more comments.
spoke very high.
Let's read those
Yeah,
up
man, hit
real
him
quick.
up.
Allison saying Carl number 6's mom won an award for cornhole at the AVNs, but I think that's a different kind of cornhole. I think so.
Yeah, I don't know much about the AVNs, so
Yeah.
that's a
And
new
Nomad saying
Oh,
suckers.
sucker! How's it going, brother?
And Ronnie Trickshot, who lives over there on the other side of the world, says he can confirm it absolutely rained cats and dogs on the east coast of Australia in the last few weeks.
That's where he was the last few weeks. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
awesome.
Nolan's saying he hasn't gotten anything new yet, but ordered some random dioramas, catwalk playset, and Tony the Tiger. And I don't know what that last one is.
Is that the dragon?
Chulith? No, I don't know who that is. It's probably a Four Horsemen figure, I'm sure, or
Okay.
Masters Universe, because I don't know what's going on with those. So other than that, yeah, I haven't got anything new either, man. It's just
Oh, that's the female Four Horsemen figure.
okay.
It's the female like skeleton looking thing with her nose burned off, and
Yep.
she's got like looks like a skeleton bird or whatever on her.
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about.
And
Awesome.
Ronnie's saying, yeah, he's been to Hobbiton. They even have a working pub there, which brews its own beer. So good. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my son
Les
doesn't
Skull
drink,
saying,
so he wouldn't have taken part in that. But yeah, that's awesome.
Plastic Skulls is here saying,
What's
hey,
up,
to me
Skulls?
and you and everyone else. What's up, Plastic Skulls?
Good deal.
And that's it for
Did
the
you
chat,
get any?
man.
Did you get anything this weekend?
No, I didn't get anything. I've been saving all my stuff waiting for Joe Fest in a couple weeks, So
Oh yeah, I mean that's an interesting one because we have some talks about that later, right? Like
Yep.
we talk about talk about some Joe Fest stuff a little bit later on, but that's cool, man. Yeah, I haven't got anything. I feel like the tariffs have definitely put a stifle on a lot of stuff. I know that's up and down as to where things are, but obviously, folks slowed things down a bit. So I don't have anything new. I still have a crap ton of stuff I haven't unboxed because, as you saw in some of the pictures I was sharing with you recently, excuse me, the wife has put me to work now that it is not raining here, and I've been replacing our, contractor grade build, you know, wood deck with Trex decking because she told me with it, she wanted it repainted and refinished or whatever, and I said I'm not sanding that stuff for the third time in 5 years and repainting it again. So I ended up popping that off and just about finished with putting the Trex on there myself. So
Well, at least
that's
you're doing it right. That stuff's supposed to last a lot longer than regular decking board, so
yeah,
should
yeah,
never have to
yeah.
worry about it. So
Yeah, it's coming along. But yes, I haven't. That's been my plastic, fun. But haven't really done too much else other
yeah,
than that. And
I've
then
been
obviously
tinkering
working
with
on
the stuff that I
some
have,
stuff on
but
the
I
side.
haven't really bought anything new. Just been tinkering around,
Yep.
waiting for Joe Fest.
You don't have any ToyLeet or toilet, then I assume either,
No,
right?
no, 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 no.
Okay. So with that said, then I think we can kind of just jump in. We
Yeah,
already covered the chat, so let's go into this week's topic, right? So, we'll be diving into some custom creations. This isn't the best of the best custom creations. This is just some custom creations we found. What I've done and what Ed and I have done, we've gathered folks. Actually, some of our viewers have sent in folks too and made recommendations. We've taken some looks at some of the customs there. We're gonna, I don't want to say promote or advertise, but we're gonna be sharing some of those things that we thought looked cool. Speak on what we liked about it, and then kind of point folks that are listening to those other creators because they're doing some cool work out there. So there's some full blown customization on these, and then there's some things that are more like a little bit of tweaking of kit bashing between cross line builds and stuff. But we'll
yeah.
dive deeper into that in the main topic. And for those that are first joining us and maybe just catching us for the first time, he below me right here is Ed Axion Figs. I am the Mr. Wonderful Travis. We get together every week, every Tuesday, sometimes on Wednesdays, and if I don't show up, Ed always gets a replacement. And we've been doing that consistently all year. This is episode 53. Yeah, because last
53.
week was our 1 year or 52 episodes, and we dive into plastic. It's a passion. It's something we enjoy. It's a way to kind of unplug from the world around us and enjoy what we enjoy outside of the 9 to 5 and the grind every week. So we get together, we talk about those things. We will do our shout out to the Crick, which is a throwback to the origination of the show with Ed and his son, where we'll shout out somebody doing something cool in the general vicinity of the toy community. We talk toy news. We focus on the independent toy lines. We don't dive into a lot of the Mattel and Hasbro stuff. We really try to focus on the independent toy community and creators and really hype that up and what's coming. It's where I spend a lot of my plastic dollars, as I consider it. And then we always talk about our weekly topic. This week again is custom creations. We'll dive a little bit in that at the back end. We typically don't take 3 hours to get there like some folks do. And we will get there. So just bear with us. We do run into technical, problems sometimes, especially as we've recently switched over to this EvuMux versus StreamYard. For those that aren't familiar with EvuMux, it's a pretty slick system with some enhanced features that aren't quite the same as StreamYard. Once you get used to them, it seems to work pretty well. I like it. It lets a lot more cleaner customization there. What do you think about that, Ed? I know we're not sponsored or making any money off that, but EvuMux seems to be pretty good.
I really like it. Like I said last week, it's really it's the two things that I'm still getting used to is that it's like StreamYard. It's all online, but StreamYard lets you download the StreamYard thing, right? So EVMux is kind of like all online, and then you got the one studio that you have, whereas StreamYard had a bunch of things. And there's some things that StreamYard did that were really slick, like the live intro switching right into going live right from the intro. But this is for the price and the cost savings over StreamYard and everything that it offers. I think it's a really good system. I like the way that the layouts are and everything much better. So
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. Yeah, it's clean. I've been happy with it. So we'll dive in a little bit further. And up first, if I have all my stuff here lined up, do I have it? Why don't I see my music? Did I not
uh-oh.
enter it? Did our music get removed?
Well, while you're finding that, I'm going to say hi to a couple people in the chat here.
Yes, please.
Sick Toy says he just got 2 more Lady Averona figures, expanding her family. That's awesome. Those are cool figures. Nomad saying the only other time that I've ever heard the word stifle was between Archie and Edith Bunker on All in the Family. And Terrence's next toy is here. What's up, Terrence? And Terrence asking, are you going to be at Joe Fest, Ed? Yes, I will be at Joe Fest, Terrence. Yes, I will be there. And the Brick Something, Brickster's here. There you are. Was waiting and got distracted. Yeah, we were a little late. So, and Ronnie agrees with us. 3 hours is way too much for that guy, especially that guy. And the old Fat Dread Foods here saying hello. Can't stay, left a like, and we'll catch the replay. Thanks, Foo. Have a good night, man. Is it gone?
I don't see it, but
That's
I know it
strange.
should be here.
That's all right. Let's just do the drum roll and jump into it.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't see it, so I apologize. Maybe I'm missing it. Oh, hold on. Where's my I just lost my panel here. Sorry. Yeah, we'll figure it out here. So, I guess with that said,
Shout out from the Crick. We usually have a lovely song to go with this, but since it's not playing, we will just skip that to the drum roll. And this week's shout out from the Crick goes to Sig Toy Arts. Um, we figured with this show being revolving around the custom figures and stuff, Sig is doing some crazy cool, kit bashes and custom work for a lot of Mythic Legions figures and stuff. Does some like show off and build videos on his YouTube channel, and just like some of the customs he has, some of it's pop and swap, some of it's repaints and things like that, and it's just some really cool figures that I'd be I'd be happy to have in my collection. You still with us?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he does a great job. Um, Sorry, I was trying to find the audio still, I'll be honest. But Sig, you do a great work. I know we've seen him
Squirrel.
in the chat a bunch. Exactly. Squirrel, chipmunk, what? Rain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Sig's always here. Always following everybody, checking in, chatting with everybody. So
Absolutely. No, appreciate him doing good work. But yeah, no, I think you said it most of it on your own.
So thank you, Sig Toy Arts, for sharing your custom work with us. It's awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
Dead silence. Are you ready to go on to the next thing there, Squirrel Boy?
I'm good, Ben. I'm good,
All
bro.
right. You got the screen control, so.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, Sig. Thanks for what you're doing in the community, brother. Sorry, we're still getting used to the technology here. And yes, Brick, something seems off. That said, this is the ToyLeet Network news for the week of June 3rd, 2025. From desert drops to tactical kicks, the summer heat is rising, and so is the hype. Kickstarters are unlocking, fan favorites are flexing, and even your feet might be getting some plastic inspired drip. Quick hits, fast drops, full articulation. I'm Mr. Wonderful, and this is ToyLeet Network News. So let's dive in. Up first, we have from Creative Beast Studios a quick update. They recently showed off their Zoic trading card game that's going to be coming to Kickstarter. Looking at a launch date of September 23rd. Kind of resembles resembles a bit of like the Magic the Gathering with the different cards, characters. But basically, this is going to be Zoic TCG, the card game, will unite beasts of the Mesozoic, the Cenozoic, and the Cyberzoic into one expansive game. The gameplay style is announced to be kind of a feature of a mix of paleo and sci-fi themes with exclusive new artwork and familiar concepts, package designs. You can see here in one of the screen grabs that I got. Again, it kind of looks a little like the Magic the Gathering to me. I thought I was pretty interested. Thought it looked really cool. I do know that they did a bonus reveal. There's going to be some sort of special collectible coin that will accompany the game. Kind of remind me of a Pog coin before. But yeah, just some first test shot previews the other day, and looks like this is on its way. So pretty cool. And I think it's definitely something I will be keeping my eye out on. So it's interesting to see. What is it? The Creative Beast Studios expanding beyond just graphic novels and toy specific, but now into the trading card game also. Moving on from there, a couple quick updates from Delta 17. This is for you 118 fans. They did announce some Joe Fest exclusives. A Desert 2-pack debuts at Joe Fest. They do have an MSRP of $45 with a post-show online availability planned for the end of June. So if you don't happen to be in attendance and you don't have a friend that can grab something for you while they are there, you can work hopefully to grab something offline at a later time. They also showed off their Desert Delta Squad, Thunder Battalion 2-pack. Oh, sorry, that's what I already talked about. I apologize. The 2 Hailstorm figures. Originally planned for Wave 1, but they were a bit delayed. And they also hinted towards, or suggested there will be a $5 weapons pack at Joe Fest. It will be a little bit more online. I think $7 for that weapons pack, but a little bit cheaper if you're in person. Again, all items will be online with availability live by the end of June. There is a bundle discount of 10% off when you buy 3 or more items, so definitely check out Delta 17 if you're interested in some very interchangeable or usable with your old Joes and those like 4-inch scale action figures. So definitely something you should check out if you haven't already. Next up, we got a couple updates from Four Horsemen. Four Horsemen, we're showing off some upcoming dates. They have their in-stock sale, some recent dates. Some have passed, but some updates on those. They had the in-stock sale order. Shipping is near completion. All remaining orders are expected to ship by next week. Mythic Legions All-Star 6, the single figures, so people that didn't do the all-ins, are currently in transit and expected to begin shipping in July. Cosmic Legion's Ox Crew Thrax production is in progress and expected to ship in Q3. The Mythic Legion's Rising Sun, which is one of the ones that I'm extremely excited for, is in late pre-production, still on track for delivery by end of 2025, which I know will excite all of you bear collectors. Other waves, including the Reign of the Beasts, Ox Crew 2, Beathir are all in the early stages, further out from fulfillment. They also mentioned that they are closer to completion of the Cosmic Character Packs and first 10 yearbooks. Figures are nearing final updates, so some news is pending on that shortly. They also announced again, and this is more of a reminder as we spoke about it last week, they have the Infinite Legions debut this Friday, 6/6/25 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with the reveal of Fadian, the Traveler. You can check them out on the Four Horsemen Studios 4-H YouTube channel. They will have the pre-orders go live immediately following that at 9 p.m. After the reveal. And this is the one which is the collaboration project with O'Neill Designs, leveraging the Legion's build system and connected into the Glyos universe. So I know a lot of heads are waiting to see this one and see what they do. And last but not least, Four Horsemen Studios will be at 5 Points Festival Toy Pizza Expo this weekend on June 7th and 8th in Beacon, New York, showcasing the debut of the Infinite Legions Fadion alongside O'Neill Designs and the Glyos community. A limited selection of Four Horsemen items will be available for sale at the event, so stop over and check those guys out if you're in the area. Up next, we have some news from Fresh Monkey Fiction. They showed off some additional screens and images of the Joe Fest exclusive, downtown Eagle Force 81 Downtown Sergeant Brown exclusive that they'll have available at their booth. So go ahead and also plan to join them for the World of Eagle Force launch event panel on Saturday at 3 p.m., featuring reveals for World of Eagle Force, Operation Monster Force, and many, many more. Up next, we have an update from Patriot Force. We've been following these guys for just about a year now, going back to Joe Fest last year when we first started hearing rumbles of these guys. And these guys just launched their Kickstarter. They're currently, as of a couple hours ago, at around just under $25,000 with a target goal of $96,000. Currently sitting at around 150 backers. They got 31 days to go. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely get out there and check it out. Very cool. Very cool Kickstarter, interesting one. If you're into that military 112 scale figures, these are going to fit right on in. What's really cool is there's the fact that they're taking not just military concepts and ideas, they're actually taking folks that have served in the military and creating the action figures of these men that served for the U.S. military, and it's kind of cool. These are probably guys that were kids that looked at the GI Joe figures and collected ones, played with some. Some of them are in this community to this day, and they're actually getting the opportunity to be turned into a live, plastic replica of themselves, which is really, really cool. So go check this out. Really cool work that they're doing over there. And then they're looking to bring this to fruition shortly. 31 days to back it. One other thing that they didn't bring folks alert, because there were some questions, is the deluxe figure sets, which come with the dogs. There's some 2-pack ones and whatnot. They will be priced at $49 each once they unlock. The pricing detail was not originally included on the campaign, so there were some questions, and that prompted some clarification from the Patriot Force folks. Up next, I don't know why I left that one in there. My apologies. That was from last week, but that's the Mortar Pit, which is also part of the Kickstarter, which is why I left it in here to highlight that again. Up next, we have, last but not least, a quick update from Valaverse. Again, another preview. This has been consistent week in and week out. We're showing off a shot or two of what Valaverse is working on. Maybe it's a Night Ops version of Sidewinder. There was no official confirmation, but it kind of suggested that. Some of the banter in the chat suggested that. Kind of showcasing the deco details that fans say, looks fairly good, almost all embroidered, with high praise for the finally getting a medic figure in the lineup based on what it looks like. And that's the rundown for the news this week from the desk of ToyLeet Network News. From field gear to footwear, the mission keeps evolving. And until next time, keep your figures posed, your wallets braced, and your sneakers ready for deployment. I'm Mr. Wonderful, signing off from the only network where the headline comes with accessories.
Awesome. So just to add to the news, Monster Force, Fresh Monkey Fiction, Big Bad Workshop also announced a Joe Fest exclusive of, how they did the purple eraser for Toylanta. They're doing another eraser in a smoky, translucent, clear body for Joe Fest. That will be.
Oh, that's cool.
Also. So
that's really cool.
Let me just run through some new chats real quick, and then we'll jump into the main topic. How's that sound?
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right. We have the Roll Keepers here with us. What's up, Roll Keeper?
What's up, RK?
And TD3 Trooper, or otherwise known as Troy's, popping in, saying, "What's up, my dudes? What's up, Troy?" And Sig Toy Art saying, "I love this hobby. It's my passion, and passion is life." Absolutely, brother. And G.I. Jetman's here saying, "Hello. Sorry he's late. No need to apologize for being late, brother. We all have life going on. We were late already as ourselves, so. Good on them. Creative Beast is being a creative beast for this move. Love it.
I'm very interested in that move. I want to jump on that real quick, Ed. Real quick. I don't want to pass that one off. I'm very interested in that. I would love to have a conversation with the folks at Creative Beast Studios on this, just because my mind wanders and wonders. Because it being a card game, it can be created and distributed in the U.S., so it allows them to potentially balance out their product offering to not just be tied to offshore,
Yeah.
production companies. They could have that produced right here in the U.S. and mitigate all those overhead, because that is something that can be produced right here directly in the U.S. It's still, you can do it offshore, right? You can do it at another
Yeah.
location, but it's going to cost, and it's going to be a little bit cheaper to produce. But you can definitely produce it here in a reasonable price in the U.S. So it would be very interesting to see, and it would be interesting to know if that's the reason, if that kind of sparked some of the decision here, as opposed to something they just, wasn't something they were planning for a while.
Yeah. And just to add, while Brooks was the last comment we showed up, this Friday for the 8 p.m. Reveal for the Four Horsemen, Brick, myself, Oz, and Joe G will all be doing a live
Jed,
reaction
am I
stream
gone? Are you gone?
during the broadcast.
You
Am I
you
still
cut out
here?
there, Ed. Sorry.
Oh,
You're back.
all right. So Brick, Oz, Joe G, and myself will be doing a live reaction party stream on Brick's channel for the Four Horsemen announcement this Friday at
Man, I
8
don't get
p.m.
invited to this stuff anymore, do I?
Well, Joe and Oz and Brick and I have done them for the last 3, 4, 5
I'm giving
mythic reveals.
I'm giving you a
So
hard time, brother. Friday
I have
nights
to
are
deal
tough
with
for
you
me,
enough,
so I
man. I
appreciate it.
gotta expand my company.
Man,
Tony's
that
Figs, what's
hurts.
up, brother?
What's up, T?
And my buddy Matt Emanon is here, saying ahoy. What's up, Matthew? And I think I said Jetman was here. And let's see.
Did we get Matthew?
Hold on, I haven't got that far down yet.
Oh, my bad. Wow.
And
Brick
Sarah
says
saying
I've
nice
never been
tagline.
invited. Thank you.
What's
Yeah, I
that?
saw that. I saw that from Sig. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Matthew saying Matthew's here. Thanks, Matthew. I didn't cut out. Everybody go over to Matthew's show after this on Pop Blender's channel for the evening blend.
Yep.
Yes, 4-H reveal reaction. That's exactly it. You've never been invited. I won't even bring that
And I
up.
never will be. And I
Yeah.
never will be, probably.
Matthew saying your internet's off. And if Matthew says it, you know it's right. So it's got to be you.
Facts.
And that's
And
it, bro.
well, Nolan asked if it was a figure obscura, right? I think, and it's not a figure obscura. It's another line that they're doing that they
Yeah.
announced at G-Con last year, I think is when it was. They
This is
announced
their
they're going to be doing
collaboration
it.
line.
Yeah. So if I understand it correctly, it's a way for them to use their Four Horsemen modeled figures with the hot swaps and all that stuff that they're, the easy swappable features that Four Horsemen figures are known for, and it's allowing them to use that platform and those molds to tie into other IPs that are out there that
Yeah.
they want to collaborate with.
Yep. And DJ 5000, what's up, man?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Thanks for stopping in,
Awesome.
brother.
Thank you
Happy
very
anniversary.
much.
Thank you. And yes, Brick saying he loves you. He's just busting your balls.
Brick's my dude. I'll actually be in touch with you, Brick, later this summer because I have some questions for you. Might be something that I'm working on that I mentioned earlier on. I definitely want to get some insight from you.
All right, my man. Let's
Good
keep
deal.
rolling.
Let's jump right on in, right? So, welcome back. Tonight we're diving into the underground, the world where imagination breaks the mold and factory limits mean nothing. That's right. It's all about custom creations, the figures you wish existed, brought to life by the most creative collectors out there, or some of the most creative collectors out there. Whether it's a dream match, a lost legend, or a brand new icon, these customs are straight fire. So grab your brushes, your glue, your wildest ideas. This episode is where plastic gets a bit personal, right? It's what
That's
folks
right.
do on their own. So we're going to dive in a little bit deeper here. Up first, and I'm going to start this one off. Some folks may not know who this individual is. I'm going to take a step back to dive back to, I want to say 2014 probably. So about 2014, 2013, I was getting back into the collecting game. Not really collected figures in a consistent way. My kids weren't really, action figurists. They played with their stuff, but I wasn't getting on the floor with as much of it as that they were. And then right around that time, I started getting more into the Mattel figures when Mattel had the license. So it was probably a couple of years, but then I, was limited to what I was seeing online, seeing in the stores, and you were limited to whatever was under a contract. So toys weren't, meeting all of the needs that I wanted. So I started Googling, get on the YouTube and stuff, and I found Glenn Webb. And he's passed away back in 2016. And that was interesting because like all of a sudden I woke up one day, we were on vacation, and I saw my phone. I was trying to see what he was doing, and and it was announced that he had passed away. He was a friendly person on the YouTube. I never met or talked to him directly, but I followed him for quite some time. He did some really cool customs. The customs that stood out to me were, believe it or not, wrestling figures. So he did a lot of stuff on YouTube, but he did some really cool stuff with wrestling figures that I was really impressed with. His skill was far better than anything I had ever considered doing, and really way above what I was seeing people do in some of the wrestling forums. Here you can see he has one of his. I have a picture of one of his figures that he did for a tugboat, which I thought was awesome. And then from there he went on and he went on and attempted to make the Minotaur, I think is who it was, if I remember correctly, in the lower picture. But I just, the detail and passion he showed for it, his level of creativity across all the customs that he did, were just awesome. Obviously he's passed back, almost 10 years now. So, you're not seeing new content, but if you have a chance to go check out his page, he does some really cool stuff. There's an Instagram page out there for him at Glenn Webb. You can still see a ton of the work he did, and his YouTube stuff's all linked from there. But I don't know. Did you know of Glenn Webb, Ed? He may or may not have been
Uh,
on your radar.
I don't think I ever heard of Glenn Webb before, actually.
Okay. He was like
I mean,
my
I probably
first.
did see it in passing at some point in time, but never really paid attention to it. But
Yeah, he was like the first guy I followed on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on YouTube for like toy collecting and
yeah,
like customization. He's like the first person that I was like, oh, this guy's cool and he's good, and just his tone and the way he approached things, is the quality of the videos back then were so good. I loved watching his stuff. So yeah, his good stuff there. Cool. Up next, and again, before I go into this deeper, right, is I think we covered this, right, Ed, that we didn't pick the best customs in the world, right? Like
no,
there's so many people doing so many things.
yeah,
We
these are
just
just guys
grabbed
that we
what
like
caught
and we
our
follow,
eyes.
and just
Exactly. Yep.
just ones we thought we'd point out.
Exactly. And just kind of highlight this time. When we come back around to this topic again in the future, probably be a different batch of folks.
Yeah,
Because, there's different things that pop up in those algorithms and we see, and when you're searching. But this was one that I wanted to call out just because, it touches back to really my entry into
yeah,
the YouTube toy collecting. He was doing hunts and things like that. So there is this one here. And this was one that you had found, right, Ed? I don't know if you want to speak to this, but the DTG figures.
yeah. So
Um,
I started following him way back when I first got on Instagram. Well, whenever I first found him on Instagram, I followed him right away. He does um a lot of like 3D prints of different armor pieces. So he does like, Halo armor, Stormtrooper armor, clone armor, Helldivers armor. And he builds these figures based on like a generic, you know, Noda figure or Mezco body, puts a black suit on there, and then attaches the stuff. I recently ordered a couple of his weapons and armor packs and stuff, and really high quality stuff. And then the smaller picture on the left, you can see is like a robot droid kind of looking thing, and he 3D printed that himself. And you can actually go and order that. He has different head attachments, different arms and stuff you can buy. You can buy like a base model, which is $85. You put it together yourself. Then it goes up from there where he assembles it and puts some paint on there and stuff like that. He's got like a 3D printed speeder bike kind of thing you can buy. All sorts of really cool stuff, heads, weapons, different armor pieces, all based on, you know, some IPs, some of his own designs and stuff like that. Just, and like all of his Instagram is a lot of him just like assembling the figure, in 10 times speed or whatever, right? And it's just what he starts with and then what it ends up looking like is just completely cool. So
Yeah, I just want to add here, right? Like, I didn't know him, I didn't follow him before you shared this with me, but I saw what he was doing with some of this, and I when what caught my eye was the Halo guy because,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I was a youngin one day, and when the Xbox came out, I was big into Halo, and
Oh
spent a
yeah.
lot of my early adulthood playing Halo when I probably should have been resting and working on college papers and
Yep.
spending time with a wife late in the evenings, getting yelled at for playing my video games too loud. So when I saw that, I caught that and thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I saw the little robot stuff. I say little robot. I don't mean that offensively by any sense. I saw the robots. He's got some cool stuff, and very much so. If you're, I assume those are 1/12 scale, right, Ed?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of those, I feel like if you're looking for some supplemental things for your Star Wars Black Series with a little bit of customization on your own, you could really have at it with those, and there's some cool stuff. But he also does like where he builds out these Halo figures from like base bodies that are like just some of those high end eBay articulating base
Yeah,
figures,
that's what
right?
he does. And he puts like a black,
Black
bodysuit on them and just
fabric.
builds up from
Yep.
there. Yeah, it's dope stuff, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very
Big
cool
Toy
stuff.
saying
For
that
sure.
DTG is dope. Yeah, he's his stuff is awesome.
Yep. Absolutely. Good deal. Cool. Yeah. So, and on the screens, what we've done is we've listed their Instagram, made notes of some of the items that were on their Instagram posts. So definitely go check these guys out. If you're not following them, go check them out for sure. Up next, we've got, and I thought about waiting till later into this one, and this one was cool because I was like, oh, I gotta look up custom wrestlers because if I don't, would I be Mr. Wonderful? So this next one here is one of my favorites, and it's funny because like 3 out of 4 of these images are customs of WWE Ultimates, where if you go back about 4 episodes or 3 episodes where I talk about the WWE Ultimates we need now, 3 of these are characters that I would have wanted in the Ultimate lines. His detail is so awesome, and if you recall a couple weeks ago when we had the show on the Ultimates that we need, Ed, the guy up in the right hand corner is Wrath. The guy in the blue is I was gonna call him Sub Zero, but it's Glacier, and then the guy in green is not Reptile. It's Mortis. And those 3 characters had like an integrated story in WCW in the late '90s, and they were very clearly based off the Mortal Kombat 3 and such. But I
Yeah.
love the characters, and then when I saw these, and I was like, oh, I got to check out Chargrove Toys. He's always got like some of the best wrestlers. So I went and grabbed these. I could have listed him for 5 of my favorite customs this week, but I
Yeah.
figured I'll just throw a bunch of pictures of them, including the indie god Matt Cardona up on the left hand side, who is one of my favorites, who was at PowerCon when we were both there. He actually walked by the booth and was like, "Man, if I didn't just start rebuilding my house, I'd be looking for this." And I'm like, "Well, I'll still be here when you're rebuilding your house and you need stands for all those figures you collect." So, some really cool stuff, and Chargrove just does amazing work. So if you're
Yeah.
into the wrestling figures,
Most of these guys that I shared, I could have picked, one figure from each of them for my top 5, but I was like, yeah, I'll just throw them all in
absolutely,
there at once because they all do some really good stuff.
exactly. So up next, Ed, you've got one of your selections, the old Architect Customs. You want to talk
Yeah,
about
I
this one?
didn't. I just recently found this guy, and this is the reason I put this guy up there is just because I've been really into like this post-apocalyptic vibe lately, and this figure is just really cool. He's kind of like a space pirate, post-apocalyptic type of desert wanderer guy. So just really cool, and like he's
Yeah.
one of those characters that like he's so cool but generic at the same time that he could go in with GI Joe, he could go with Monster Force, he could go with pretty much anything you wanted to do with him. So
Oh yeah, and then the thing I saw, and you hit it on the head, right? Is um, he kind of Fallout inspired? Like that's what it
yeah,
looked like
yep,
to me. It
yep,
makes me think of
exactly,
Fallout, which again, that post-apocalyptic style.
yep.
I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, and he
From
does
the
take commission work. I've never bought
Yep,
anything from him or anything, so I can't, But looking at his work, I'm sure you get what you pay for. So
absolutely. Yeah, I was trying to look it up because I thought I saw something about him being on eBay, with his stuff, but I'd have to, yeah. So he's got a bunch of stuff up on eBay. You can
Yeah.
go ahead and find him. I think
Yeah, he
I
like
see
like
other
your thing
people
says, he's
reselling
got
his
like the
stuff.
3D printed armor and helmets and stuff, just like DTG does. But
Yep, absolutely cool, good deal. Up next, and before I go next, right? I think one of the things on this one that caught me and I really liked, and sorry, I look at the big screen so I can call it out, is I like the wear and tear on this one because he does a really cool job with not just making him painted up, right? It's not just painted, but he's taking the time to put the wear on that armor,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
he's
yeah,
wearing like some like rundown like sweatpants, right?
yep,
Like man, this guy like just put whatever he could on, and then you kind of see the tape wrapped around his boots there, looking like he's got some boots that are kind of like maybe electrical tape together because they're probably falling apart and stuff. So like there's just
yeah.
a lot of detail that goes into here that I think is really cool.
That's one of the things I really liked about this figure and some of the other ones that he's done. Like the weathering that he does is really what you'd think. Like if you're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland for a long time, right? Your boots are going to start falling apart, and you're just going to do whatever you
Yep.
can to, keep shit together. And if the only thing you can find that fits when you rip out your crotch and your khaki pants is a pair of jogging pants, well, you make the jogging pants work. So
Exactly. Exactly. I thought it looked cool. So definitely he's on my radar as someone who does some cool stuff. And I think when I was just checking on eBay real quick while we are on to find him, but I actually couldn't find him. But I can find somebody selling one of his figures that he did for. It must have done it for them. It's a Star Wars figure that somebody must have customized. He must have customized for him. But I actually can't find his stuff, like his
yeah,
own listings. So
I know he has his
definitely check him
list.
out on
Like
Instagram.
if you go to Instagram and click on his profile, he has his links for his stuff up in there.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. Okay. Up next, we got one that you had picked here, Ed, from Cobweb Collector. I'm not sure who that guy is. I've never followed him, never talked to him. Not quite sure who he is. Tell us a
Yeah,
little bit more.
so the beautiful God web collector, he's just this guy who I found on YouTube one day. He's kind of a cool guy. I'm not really sure about him though. Sometimes he's kind of squirrely, but um, Cobb gets a lot of figures like Masterverse and barbarian type figures, whether it's mythic legions and such. But like this guy was just cool. Like this is a kit bash, but the body armor and then the bare legs with that Skeletor head to that helmet is just. I just thought it was so cool, and when Cobb put it up, it was just a awesome looking figure.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's definitely a cool. It's like there's obviously some customization that went into this figure, but it's what is it called? Pop and swap stuff, right? Like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
definitely some other Masterverse stuff plugged in here, but I think it's cool. Like he doesn't fall into my realm of things where I'd be looking for, but if I was looking for somebody who had like a mechanical arm that was gonna be a badass guy to come in and screw some things up, he looks like he could do it for
yeah.
sure.
For like a Masters of the Universe, right, which was kind of sci-fi and fantasy mixed together,
Exactly.
right? Like I could see this guy becoming like like if he was Skeletor's son and like rising to power, right? Just how badass he'd be. Like screw my dad who was this little weakling. I'm this guy who's just gonna thump your ass and walk away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could see him as being like, Skeletor's go for, hey, I need you to go take care of this, go
Yeah.
get this done, right? And he just goes out and starts laying it down.
I mean, he could also fit into like any 1980s post-apocalyptic, like fantasy movie, right? Like a Mad Max or anything like that as one of those bad guys, right? That's just crazy.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely Mad Max this. For
Yeah.
sure.
And Brick's saying that's a damn good-looking kit bash. Pretty sure it's just the head on the new Attorney of Fisto as it is. Looks great. That's really just the body, the Fisto body. That's crazy. I thought
I mean,
Cop
it
pieced that
seems
all
like
together.
it.
Either way, I love the figure.
Yeah. Good deal. Oh man, shut up, punk.
What's he saying?
He's just talking shit because he likes to
Hello,
talk shit.
fools. Just sitting here waiting for my Hexastack pack to show up.
I got you, punk. I got you. I'll get
Yeah.
that out. I'm making up some other order stuff right now. I'll
Yeah,
get that
Rick's
taken
saying
care of for you,
total
brother.
Road Warrior Extra or Fist of the North
Yeah,
Star. Yeah, 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 for
for
sure.
sure. Good deal. Up next, we've got this is really something that I think both you and I were picked up, and I just picked one that I thought looked really cool by Vaz. Right, so Vaz picks over there. Right, they do a lot of cool custom stuff. They've been doing a lot of photography, and I don't think they get necessarily. And I think Brian, Endless Fables, right?
Yeah.
He pointed out that Vaz doesn't get the credit they deserve for like the cool customizations and the work they
No,
do.
they're doing some
But
crazy stuff.
this one stood out to me because there's not even really any pop and swap going on here, right? They might have swapped the head out off this, but this might be one of the I always forget which because I have so many of these and I've popped so many heads off. I don't remember what the base head came with, but the
Yeah.
shadowing or I guess the dry brushing that I see in this picture and with the little bit of red kind of markings on there just makes this character look completely unique and different, which I think is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing that like I've always said, right? Like I've taken my couple of my AWOCs and dry brushed them or gave them a wash, right? And there's so much detail in the fur that comes out when you highlight it like that. But like the stuff that Vaz is doing, it's kind of along the lines like Endless Fables, right? They're both just doing some crazy stuff, especially with the AWOC and that kind of
yep,
fantasy stuff, mixing it all together. But yeah, this is a
it's all
really
stuff
cool
in my
stuff.
realm.
Yeah, all really cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I thought this looked so good. And like I said, those are what you could do with AWOCs, right?
Yeah, and
Especially
the
if you
thing is,
get the
like, with like some of the stuff that Vaz and even Brian does from Endless Fables, right? There's a little bit of paint, a little bit of just adding, bringing out the details that are already in the actual, you know, characters, right? And just that tiny little bit of paint and a little bit of a wash and darkening up the color or weathering it a little bit just makes
yep.
them pop so much. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I always think of like the AWOCs out of the package. They're awesome. I love them. My son loves them. He's younger. Well, I don't want to say he's younger. He's like 14, but like, I think they work for like kids, right? Like because the colors are so unique and bright, and like the collage, like the color, palette that they use for things are always like spot on. Jason does an
Oh
amazing
yeah,
work with that. But like what I love is because I love my Savage Crucible figures. What I love is like, well, how does the Savage and the AWOCs work together? Out of the package, you can get away with it. Someone like me and the way I like my stuff, like it is very hard for me. I don't even like just using this example, I don't even use the AEW figures with the WWE figures because there's just a little bit too different between them where like they don't mesh well. So like I keep my shit in its own stuff. The Joes and the Valiver stuff, that plays together well. Same scale, same build, like it all
yeah,
works. Paint apps are good and clean. But like the AWOCs and Savages, my son plays with them. Even the Mythic Legions, throw those into there, right? Like he'll mess with all of them together. Me, I do, but it's a struggle sometimes because like I don't want to say that it's a cartoony-ish to the AWOCs, but they definitely have the out of the box, cleaner, not rough around the edges figures. Blight is one of the few ones, and the War ones that they came out with for the
yeah. There's
the
they're
the Wave
definitely like
4.
a lot of them are very clean, right? And they're very vibrant
Exactly.
and bright. And that's why I said like if you
Exactly.
dirty them up, put a little shading on them and stuff. I mean, it just changes the appearance of the figures so much.
Exactly. And it makes them almost like they go from like could be a kid's collector or a young, an older, 10, 12-year-old kid collector's item to like you just a dry brush like this and this little bit of customization and now it's an adult collector figure, right? And like it
Yeah.
falls right into that other space, which I love. And I
Yep.
think that's a really cool thing they do with the AWOCs and Vaz does a great job showing that off here. I love it. And like I always forget what they call them, but they're their base builders, right? Like
Oh, the ancients.
the ancients. That was like the best thing they could do is come out with those ancients for the customizing community because
Yep.
you have you have mythic legions which you can do so much popping swapping with and you can like you don't even have to take a paintbrush out for that. But the AWOCs pop and swap really well, but additionally they take paint well and you don't have to do like crazy customizations to get a completely different masterpiece. And that's what Vaz is doing here in theirs, and it's really
Yeah, and
impressive. So that's
you're also talking a $20 ancient figure customizing it, right? As opposed to a
yep,
40 or 50, $60,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
not that the AWOC isn't a masterpiece, but I mean like when when Four Horsemen put something out that's one of their regular figures, they try to make it as detailed with all the paint and stuff
Oh
that
yeah,
you're ever going to need, right? And not that they're not fun to pop and swap and customize, but man, like you said, right? You take an AWOC out of the package, you're kind of like, oh, this is really cool, but it's kind of like a 1980s, Thundercats, He-Man type of figure,
Thundercats.
right?
Yeah.
Colorful,
Yep.
cool figure, but colorful and kind of childlike. But then you just throw a little bit of paint on there, and bam, it's a totally
Yeah.
different figure.
Absolutely. Totally. Exactly. And that's
And
and
then you
and,
can't
and
beat the
I think
quality of
that's
the
what we want to
figures.
highlight here.
Yeah, you can't beat the quality of the figures either. I mean, AWOC
Oh
has some
no,
of the
no,
best,
none
as
whatsoever.
far as articulation and durability goes. I mean, geez.
I have a lot of AWOCs, and I only had one break, and that was because I was popping it. I was doing a pop and swap on it incorrectly, and I went to order one, and Spiro took care of me
Yep.
because it was, and even though it was my fault. I told him I was like, I broke it. Like I just wasn't paying attention, but like I just need another one because I need an. I was like, I need another one, guys. Like I need to get a hold of one of those. So like. Great figures. But really, what we're talking about here is what Vaz and the team and others can do with these. So definitely, really cool figure here. Love the customization. Definitely put some things in my mind that I want to do with a couple of my agents here to make them a little bit more unique. Because what AWOC did, which was really cool, is they came out with those head packs, but you're limited, right? Four different types of or three different types
Yeah.
of heads plus the original ones that came with the body. But now doing even just something slightly, just face like a little red on the face with a little white line here and there. Do a
Yeah.
blue, you could do green, whatever. It's gonna look so freaking cool.
Well, it's like you said, right?
And I
The
just gotta get that
gladiator
out.
bodies that they did, right, look totally different
Yep.
than the basic, or the regular figures of the same character. Just
Absolutely.
adding that paint.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. And up next, I've got this one again. Ed picked this wrestle. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. This is one that
yes,
I
I
picked
did.
out. Another one. It's a wrestling one. Legend Warrior Customs here. This is a cool one that caught my eye when I was looking at the wrestling customs. When I was going out there finding chars. And I thought this was a really good one. It's like on the Ultimate Buck. It's the Owen Hart figure. You're never going to see it in a WWE Mattel figure because there's a huge, you know, drama filled fest there, but like it's really clean. The head obviously is a custom sculpt. I believe it is from what I'm looking at. It's possible that maybe that head sculpt came from one of the AEW figures they released. I'd have to go back and look, but I think the figures they had shorter hair on them. Either way, I thought they did an awesome job. They even went as far as painting on or using decals for the Slammy Award winner text on there. Just an amazing job here. I thought this was cool. I geeked out when I saw it. I was like, I kind of wish I had that one. And now that I do collect things that I put on the shelf and display in cabinets, and it's not just for play, I could see myself getting into some more of these and reaching out to some of these folks for some of these customs that I know I'm never going to see Mattel get their hands on, to fill gaps in my collection for sure. Because these are some cool ones.
You and your wrestling figures,
Up,
man. You and your
yeah,
wrestlers.
tighty whities, man. Up next, we've got Dark Gate 1313. I don't have much on this person. This was one that you shared, Ed. Do you want to talk about this one? I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, Dark Gate, he doesn't do a lot of customs as far as like true customs, but he does a lot of pop and swaps, but he does awesome photography too. But like this barbarian type figure with this long haired head sculpt on this body just looked, friggin' badass. Like I would have this
Right.
dude like battling my Conan figure or, facing off against some AWOCs or something.
Yeah. Which do you know any of the details about what's in this photo? Like what this figure is?
No, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't even figure out
Because I
which
want that
body.
shield.
Yeah.
I just want the shield. I want the shield and the necklace. That necklace would be awesome to throw on like my pail or like one of my other figures, like one of those other
Yeah.
ape figures. Like
There's
that would
somebody
be
that
awesome.
makes the tooth necklace with gauntlets, and they're made
Oh, okay.
for the Kazar figure from Marvel Legends. Kind
Oh,
of the
scale
same,
that up. That would be cool.
yeah, kind of the same thing, right? And they're 3D printed ones that somebody was selling for a while. So,
I
but
could
like the
probably
way
put a
this
few
guy
with that.
just put all this stuff together was just like a perfect, barbarian type figure that I just really
Yeah.
like.
Oh,
Like I
absolutely.
said, Dark Age does awesome photography too. So
Okay, so Brick confirmed that shield is Zezre's. So I will never own one of them because they're so darn expensive. But that's cool. That's
that
good
really
to
is
know.
that's ratio though. Yeah, might
Oh,
be.
you know what? I wonder if I have like a necklace like that that I could put on them from some of those dinosaurs that I got from 5K Toys, because they had some weird things like that. I didn't even think about pulling off of that guy because I don't use him. But he's got a lot of extra parts and stuff. I wonder if I could use that. That would be cool. Yeah, I agree. The skin tone is really good on this one, Vaz,
Yeah.
for sure.
So real
Okay.
quick, let me just say hi
Up
to a couple
next,
people
Ed, I
that popped
think.
in.
Oh yeah, please.
Radnom, Random Dioramas here saying, what's up? What's up, Radnom? And Jeff from Skunkworks saying, yo, what's up, Jeff? The Briscoe popped in. What's up, Briscoe? And yeah, Brick saying that one's a damn clean Conan looking figure. Yeah, definitely. Uh, Thor Anacostia is here. I forgot to send you the DM link to my IG page. These customs look great. Well, we'll be doing another custom show at
Oh
some point
yeah,
in time in the near future, so we'll definitely show off some of your stuff, Thor.
absolutely.
That's it, unless someone want me to read your comment.
Awesome. Nah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, good deal. Up next is Endless Fables. I know we talked about him on the last one of the last
Yep.
ones, but here's a couple shots. He has tons of photos. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
always taking photos, so you can totally see a ton of cool stuff by him. He's always doing collabs with folks. He's actually open for collaborations and even commissions. He does some cool house flags for the AWOC figures, but these are two that stood out to me, and that the reason I wanted to cover these is similar to what we saw on the Vaz's, items, right? Like he took some AWOC figures and he very simple paint, apps and things like that. And, he uses a couple weapons from the Savage Crucible on the lower picture. And that dude just looks demonic. He looks like he's up to no good. And if he
Yeah.
was hunting Pale could be in trouble. But it's just clean, good things. And then
Yeah,
I can see
Brian's
he's,
he did those standards, right? The flags, like you said. He also did the
yep,
skirt things made out of like fake leather or real leather, whatever he made them out of, where they were more individual strips as opposed to like the big, solid
yep.
plastic piece that comes standard. Like the one I sent over that he sent over to us, he turned an AWOC into like gave it a Joker paint job with the Jokerize it, as McFarlane would say. I mean, just crazy
Yep.
stuff that Brian's doing.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, no, this is cool, and you can like in the top picture. I thought it was cool because he's using things I don't even recognize. Then
Oh
there is
yeah,
stuff like the mask. That mask is definitely from Como, from the Savage Crucible. That dagger, I think, is an AWOC dagger, but and it's on an AWOC character. And then he's got some stuff. Must be, maybe it's from some of the Aztec stuff from the Four Horsemen. I'm not quite sure, but just very simple swaps, put in some things that are on different figures on those, and then the bottom one just a little simple paint app. It looks clean. That one on the bottom, it's the
oh yeah,
perfect backdrop with the green that he has in the weapons and stuff. It's just so clean. And
yeah,
that paint app to the face, again, very simple, right? Just a little white, kind of coat on there. It just, dude, looks sinister. Looks like
yeah,
he's getting ready to cause some trouble.
yeah. He's
Awesome.
Brian does some awesome, crazy stuff. I really like checking out Brian's page. Every week he's
And
posting 17 pictures of all of his different things.
And the thing about Brian's stuff that I love is that he kind of goes with like original lore. Like I think the guy in the bottom's name is WYRD, Wired. Like, he's the last of a lost tribe, grieving
Yeah,
father, relentless tracker. Like
yep,
he adds like for me, me, I get right into the lore. So like him adding that little bit of fictional history behind his unique character is so cool. So it
yeah. He
definitely
does
catches
that
my
too. That's
attention.
one of the cool things. Like he's kind of like you. He really dove into the AWOC lore and like with the standards and
Yep.
things like that, right? And a lot of the characters he designs definitely fit in. I know he's building a diorama that's very uh, comic book inspired
Oh, cool. Good deal. For like the AWOC stuff
from
or
the
for
AWOCs, yeah, from the AWOC.
oh, Endless Fables. If you're listening in right now, please give me a teaser. I won't share it with anybody, but you got to share it with me. I'm sick of being on the outs where Ed is always on the in. But I would definitely geek out for something like that. That's cool. Yeah, awesome. Up next, we've got one that you had thrown out here from Death Valley Machine. Ed,
Yeah,
kind of a deep cut reveal right here.
yeah. And now Tony's Figs does amazing work as far as like creating GI Joe customs of the OGs and things like that, right? And Tony also does a lot of cool DC stuff, but I was never a fan of the sci-fi character in the original GI Joe story, right? But this custom is just friggin' awesome. I mean, just so cool, so clean,
That paint
so
app.
cool. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that the paint app and everything on him, and the helmet and the way the body, the straps and all that stuff, the elbow pads, knee pads, and all that, just make it look so friggin' awesome.
Yeah. No, that's a clean figure for sure. Like that paint app is so freaking impressive. I'm
Yeah,
very impressed with that. That is a clean
totally
figure.
awesome sci-fi.
Definitely. Yeah,
And you're welcome, Tony. You definitely do some awesome customs for sure.
absolutely. So, Ed, that's it for this week's main topic. We covered the customs we found. Again, that's not all the best. Like, it's not the best of the best or anything. It's not a
No, no,
competition or
no.
anything. It's just some cool customs that we wanted to kind of like promote and show off and talk to. Really cool
Yeah,
folks doing cool things in the community. And I just wanted to show some of the photos we found interested in. I promise
yeah.
next time I won't have as many wrestlers. Bullshit. I probably
Well,
will. Um,
the thing is a
but,
lot of
they were
us
cool.
we get into the algorithm on these social media platforms, right? And you end up seeing a lot of the same people, a lot of the same stuff, right? So it's nice just to, spread that love. Just same thing with a shout out, right? A lot of us don't, a lot of us know some of these people and some of us don't know these people, right? And it's just nice to point them out and say, hey, go check these guys out. They're doing some cool stuff, right? And I've always liked custom figures. Jeff from Skunkworks, he does awesome customs of 12-inch figures. So if you're interested in 1/6 scale stuff, Jeff from Skunkworks is another one good to check out. Right, just those kind of cool things that are like you had in one of the slides. I think it was the actual main topic slide about how it's one of a kind, right? And custom figures, that's the best part about them. You make your own figure, you
Yeah.
make up your own lore, and you know it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, keep up if you're a customizer. Keep going. These are some folks you can check out for ideas and inspiration. But there's tons of folks out there doing cool work in their custom, modern. Not modern, but kind of like creating, something new. In this example, like sci-fi with like a modern twist. But you got folks out there doing really cool work, whether it be wrestling to sci-fi to GI Joe, or all the way to the fantasy kind of, or like Hercules or he, those types of things. So keep it up. It's cool work. Hopefully, folks enjoyed the topic, seeing
Yeah,
some
and a
stuff
lot of
maybe that was
like
fresh
a
that they
lot of the
hadn't
guys who
seen.
showed off too, have websites or sell their pieces and stuff that they've 3D printed or done, or take commissions
Yeah.
if you're not a crafty person and just want to buy something cool, or commission someone to do something cool for you. It's a lot of these guys that we showed off definitely take
Yep.
commissions.
Yeah. Most of them, if not all. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good deal. So that wraps up this week's topic, but that leads us to next week, Operation Joe Fest. So this is the
Operation Joe
annual.
Fest.
This is our annual Yo Joe June Joe Fest plan, right? So this is Operation Joe Fest this year, and we're going to be kind of diving into um, you know covering kind of like what you should expect when you're there. What are you excited for? The must see exclusives. What creators to meet. Kind of like what you should do, and we'll kind of touch base on some of the things we did last year to remind folks. But additionally, we'll have some guests next week, just like we did last year. I think we've finalized most folks. We might be waiting on to hear back from one more.
Yep, we've
But
confirmed
we
two out
have.
of the three.
Yep. So we have confirmed 2 out of the 3 of the guests. We'll have some questions. There might be a contest, to see who knows the most throughout the panel. I'll be coming in kind of to moderate the conversation between Ed and the guests. We know one of the guests is the biggest pain in the ass that the internet ever produced, and that is Skunkworks. No, 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 no. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It rhymes
Nobody
with
saw
skunk.
that coming.
It rhymes with skunk.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I just can't read tonight. No, no. We are grateful to have our friends returning from last year. We have a Punk with Toys, and then we also have a Skunkworks. Jeff, right? If I have his
Yes.
name, I think right. Jeff from Skunkworks joining us, and we do have a reach out to one of our other folks that we're trying to bring in to come on again. If not, it'll just be the four of us, but we'll have a conversation about Joe Fest next week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a good show. It was a lot of fun last year. Just, talking about Joe, reminiscing. I mean, a lot of us, owe basically our love of collecting to G.I. Joe in some form or fashion, whether it was an early childhood memory or, something that came along later in life. But,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Ed, before we go into it and we wrap up here, what do you got this week, next week? What's going on?
oh, tomorrow I'm going to hang out in Kenzo's chat because I missed the last 2 weeks. So I have to go and hang out with my buddy and support him. And then Thursday we'll be on Thursday with a friend with Punk. I don't know who the guest is. Then Friday we'll be over on Brick's channel at 8 p.m. for the Mythic Legions reveal. It'll be me, Brick, Oz, and Joe G. Oz is back from the dead. His Sasquatch wife let him out of the house again finally, from the wild, let him back in the house. And then after that show, I'll be over on modding for Rad Dom on his late night craft and chill. Saturday night, the clubhouse is back. Oz is going to be at the helm again. And then Sunday with Hella Dope. Monday with the ramblings of Punk and his 3 hours of endless chatter. And then back here Tuesday with you with Punk again.
Good deal. Oh, man, you're screwed.
I know. Jeez.
Awesome. Oh, look. Okay, so Brick's saying that you guys should go live at 7:30.
Sounds good, Brick.
On Friday night. So for folks that want to tune in, and I'm going to be celebrating some stuff with some people, doing something on Friday night. If I have free time and I'm not doing anything important, I will definitely be dialing because I want to see it. I'm very excited to see what they do because I think it's a very interesting approach to Four Horsemen. So I'll definitely be following there. I'll pop in and, give Brick a hard time for not sending me the link. Just because, I couldn't attend anyways, but at least to make him feel like a pain in the ass. For sure. All love, Brick. All love. You know it, brother. Love you over there on the West Coast. That said, we'll be back next week, and we'll be back next week with
me. We'll be back next week with me. Where is it?
I don't know why that did that. Did you mess up stuff on my screen, man?
I didn't touch nothing, man. I didn't touch nothing.
Back next week with Operation Joe Fest. So, folks, again, next week, 6:10, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, we'll be going over Operation Joe Fest with a Punk with Toys, Skunkworks, myself, and Ed, and a potential fifth guest to be named at a later time. Hopefully you can all join us then, but otherwise, I think we're going to try this. Nope, not that. This.
ToyLeet crew, from hacks and stacks to toy Thember, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, reset.
Hold on a second. I totally forgot, guys. Stay wonderful.
From hacks and stacks to toy Thember, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace, elite with the heat in this plastic race. ToyLeet, not just a name, we're the culture, the vibe, the collecting flame. stream to shelf, we never stop. ToyLeet, it's not just toys, it's legacy we stack. ToyLeet's the movement, and we're never looking back.